Good morning. We are back on the build. We're a little excited. I'm a little amped up because we are going to be putting this roof panel up on the roof today. It's our first one, and I plan on following it with a couple more. As always, there are a couple more things that have to be done. I'm gonna shore up some of the studs in here before we put anything on top of them. And I've also got one more spline that I've got to stick in at the top. First thing we're going to do is we're going to lay this down and spin it around so that we can lift it with the excavator and put it on the roof. Comes down this way.
Lay it down? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to spin it on this open cavity here. Well, I mentioned that I had to make a few changes in here before we put the panel up. What I did was I came in and underneath of each beam I put 2 additional studs. Now I honestly think that there was already enough support to handle it and the load of the roof. However, it has been recommended to me by people whose opinions I respect, and I am building this house to last at least 100 years past my death. I want it to keep standing. I don't want to have any problems. And 2x4s are fairly cheap. So I went ahead, cut them and nailed them in. I got one little piece of spline that's got to go in right up there. And once that's in, we put the panel on. There's a lot of little milestones when you're building something like this that won't mean anything to anybody else. But for me, here's one of them. I got to crack open this bucket of screws today. I've had a stack of these sitting around waiting for me to get to the point where I was putting the roof panels on, because these are the screws that go through the roof panel and into the beam. And we started off with stacks and stacks of SIPS panels behind the house. Now those stacks are gone. I'm gonna go jump in the excavator. We're gonna clip into this panel. I'm gonna swing it up there and we're gonna go ahead and dry fit it real quick. Now, I had somebody say something about me dry fitting wood. Why would I do that? Why not just measure and cut and put it in place? Well, in a perfect world, I'd be perfect, but it's not a perfect world. So you can see right here, we've got it strapped up. I was trying to think of ways that we would be able to pull them up. And I came up with some intricate, silly things like block and tackle. And then I just figured a ratchet strap will do pretty much the same thing. And be a lot less energy. And you know, when we start doing the one up above us, I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. I'll figure something out. Lever it as hard as you can.
Okay.
All right.
Good?
We're getting there. All right, let it down. All right, we're gonna do the other side now. You're gonna lift and I'm gonna pull.
Okay.
And it's gonna basically slide up this piece of wood.
Okay.
So you wanna be all the way down.
Okay.
Like right about there, okay?
All right.
Put your weight on it and pull and lift down.
Okay.
Lift down. Okay. Very good. When we were getting all this set up, this is for shear strength on the frame. And what I was getting ready to do was take these pieces that run from here to here and put them in, lock the whole thing in. And my wife pointed out to me that I would not be able to reach across and do anything with this roof piece when I put it up here. And since the first roof piece I needed to pull tight, I'm very glad she noticed that, or I would have been tearing apart all of that OSB with a Sawzall so I could get to it. This 12-inch screw goes through this panel and into the beam, holding the panel to the beam. What I'm not going to do is drive another one down here until I have another panel up there and have them joined together, because it presses the OSB down just a bit, and I don't want to make it difficult to get the splines in. That took a full 2 hours longer than I planned, 2.5 hours longer than I planned, because of struggling with everything. But we should move faster on the next panel. The problem is I have to go home and take care of something because I just got a call from work.
After taking care of my work situation, we came back to the job site, worked until dark, and then we set up a work light and continued to do some work. We put the splines into the first piece that we had put up there so that we could put another piece up. We discovered in that process that it would be way better to put the splines in on the ground because we were struggling quite a bit.
We're calling it quits for tonight. We didn't even come close to getting that panel up. I was wrong. We'll get it up tomorrow, though.
We got one panel.
We got one panel. We'll get the other ones up tomorrow. Good morning. Welcome back to our build at Breakheart Orchard. It's still morning, a little later in the morning than I planned on getting here, but I had to go do a favor for a friend. Last night, we finished up with putting the splines in. Now these splines, the whole point of the splines, that's how you join the panels together. You put sip seal, which is a flexible sealant. You put it's about a 3-inch spline in here. Nail it in every 6 inches with an 8D nail. You do it top and bottom. Later on, you come back through and you drill a hole from the bottom up, and you fill these channels with expanding foam. Thanks, Darla. This is the spline. It's simply a piece of OSB that's been ripped to 3 inches. You put the sealant in there, you put that inside, nail that on, you put your other panel up, slide it up there with sip seal in that channel as well, nail it on. That's how you get the panels together. Then you fasten the panel to the beams every 12 inches with a 12-inch structural screw, which is what we did on the top one that we got in there. Now, when we put that one in yesterday, some things did not go according to plan. It was a lot more manipulation than I wanted. I've fine-tuned what I'm going to be doing today, going to do it a little bit differently. I'm putting the splines in on the ground. Doing it on the ladder was an absolute pain. I'm going to put the splines in on the other side. I'm going to put sip seal on this side. We're going to lift it up, pull it into place, nail it, and screw it. That should go much faster. It's not going to go fast, but it's going to go faster. It would be faster if I had a crane or a telehandler, but given the way that we have to move things around and the multiple days it's going to take to get things done, that's an expense that I just can't incur right now. That would run me about $500 a day for a crane, and telehandler would probably be at least that much for a weekend. Now, if you just happen to stumble upon us and this is the first time you've watched one of our videos, my name is David. I am building a 2,500 square foot SIPS panel house with post and beam. On the inside of the house, we have the main room is post and beam for the trusses, and in the bedrooms, we have 6 by 12 inch fir rafters. They're about 18 feet long. That's what holds the roof up. The walls are 6.5 inch thick. They've been here a while. I've had them up, quite frankly, probably too long. I'm starting to see a little bit of weather damage on some of it, but all in all, it's nice and solid. The roof's going on now, so we're gonna be all right. The roof panels are 10.25 inch thick. That gives us an R40 value. In this climate, we're 7 or 8 for the climate zone. That is plenty of insulation. There's a lot of glass in the front. We'll have passive heating in the wintertime. We're gonna have some shades up there that are gonna help us out in the summertime. So during the fall and winter, that sun is gonna come in and charge that cement with heat, and then it's gonna help radiate out the rest of the day. In addition to that, we've got about 3,000 feet of PEX tubing that runs through the cement floor. We're gonna have a hot water system that runs through so that we have radiant heat. Also gonna be running a wood stove in the wintertime. We will also be putting in a mini split system to handle the air conditioning, and that also has a heat pump on it just in case. So with 3 different heat systems running, I think we've got the heat system covered. It should be relatively energy efficient. There is over 700 feet of glass in this house, so you're gonna lose some, you're gonna gain some. Now the reason we just spun that around is because the dew from the night air was in this channel on the other side. On this side, it's had the sun shining on it for a couple of hours and it's dried off. On the other side that we just exposed to the sun, even though the sun's moving, we just exposed to the sun, that's still a little bit damp. So while I'm putting SIP seal on this side, I'm hoping the other side will dry out a little bit. Well, we got that one up, but it took way too long. So we're slowly trying to perfect our technique on this. We've got another one ready to go. We're gonna lift it up, have it spin, and then put it up top so we can SIP seal it and fasten it into place.
magic of editing can make an hour or two of struggle seem like 5 easy minutes. Each and every one of these panels has brought a lot of education with it. The real shame of it is that by the time we're finished, we'll know so much about putting together a SIPS panel house, and we'll probably never put anything like that together again.
We're stuck. Literally, we're stuck. We know what's happening. One of the splines is hanging on the edge of the SIP panel and won't let it move up at all. I've gotten up there and I put tension on it and beat on it, hoping that it would pop up over the rim of the SIP panel and slide together. Doesn't happen. I've loosened it up and beat on it, trying to loosen that spline. It's nailed in every 6 inches and then some. I've got an idea for what to do in the future, but that doesn't do anything for me right now. So right now I need a sledgehammer. I'm gonna use these wedges. I loosened the bottom 2 screws. There are 4 screws up each beam and on the walls holding this panel in. So I'm hoping there's enough flex there by loosening 2 of those. If I have to go back up and do all 4 of them, that's what I'll do. I've got a couple of logging wedges here, and I'm going to try to lift this panel up and see if that didn't do anything, did it? That actually lifted it up some. So if I can get that to happen all the way across, can you give me that wedge? Maybe I can actually get this thing to slide up. Yeah, I think that might do it. Might do the trick. Let's climb back up here and see if I can crank this thing. I'll start on the corner. If I can get the corner, it'll kind of zipper together. Maybe that'll solve the problem.
There it goes.
I did it. You get up top and we'll both together.
Okay. So there's still a gap on this side. Is there a gap on that one?
Pull it up. Hold it.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Go. Oh,
What's wrong?
nothing. I just broke the edge of the wedge.
It's been a long weekend, and I only got 4 roof panels on. I don't even have to tell you, I thought that I was going to have both veterans done. Did not go according to plan, but I learned a few things. Logging wedges have been added to my toolbox for putting on the SIPS roof. Got to wedge it up a little bit to make sure that the splines can go in sometimes. Anyway, I haven't nailed this yet. I'm going to go ahead and nail all. Well, the battery died while I was up there nailing those in. Got 4 panels this weekend. It's better than 1, but it's not as good as I wanted. I was hoping to knock out both sides. Those are the breaks. Gonna come back there in the week and prep that panel so we can get it up here. We might actually be able to get it up one night during the week and get everything ready so that we can come in hard charging and knock that other side out next weekend. Hopefully we can start on the big section. We got 29 panels on the big section and 10 panels for the front section. So got a whole lot of roof panels to put up here, and 4 in a weekend isn't going to cut it. We're going to have to get a little faster. Come on back and check us out again at Break Hard Orchard. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We will see you then. Where's my gloves, darling? Trying to break that leg.